Who is Tom Bombail? Tom Bombail is a mysterious and enigmatic character from The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. He appears in the Fellowship of the Ring when Frodo and his companions travel through the Old Forest. He rescues them from Old Man Willow and later from the Barrow-wights. Tom is described as an ancient, joyful, and powerful being with deep ties to nature. He is seemingly unaffected by the power of the One Ring. It does not make him invisible, and he shows no real interest in it. His origins and true nature are deliberately left vague by Tolkien. Some suggest he is a Maya or a Vala, though Tolkien refutes this, or an embodiment of the spirit of nature, maybe even something older than the Vala. Despite, or perhaps because of, his immense power, he remains detached from the conflicts of Middle-earth, leading Gandalf to remark that he would not be able to help in the War of the Ring because he does not understand the need to fight evil. The happenings of man, elves, and even Sauron simply do not affect him. But is Tom Bombail like a man to ants? Notices them but ultimately is uninterested in their day-to-day activities. In a way, yes. Tom Bombail is aware of the events of Middle-earth and acknowledges them, but he exists outside the struggle for power and survival that defines most of its inhabitants. Unlike a man who might be indifferent to ants, Tom does intervene when necessary. He saves the hobbits from Old Man Willow and the Barrow-wights. However, he does so playfully and without any real sense of urgency, as if their troubles are small ripples in a much larger and more stable existence. If a man sees ants drowning in a puddle, he might scoop them out but wouldn't concern himself with their war against a rival colony. Similarly, Bombail recognizes Sauron's threat but does not see it as his concern. The One Ring has no power over him, but he has no interest in using it or stopping Sauron. His world is untouched by such things. So, he's not just indifferent like a man is to ants. He's just detached in a way that suggests he operates on a fundamentally different level of existence. But then why or how does he exist in the world? Why be embodied in a man? Why the trouble of living in a house? If the Sauron's war burned down his forest, wouldn't that affect him? And that's one of the biggest mysteries about Tom Bombail. Why someone so detached from the conflicts of Middle-earth still exists in a physical form, with a house, his wife, Goldberry, and taking on daily activities like singing and gathering water lilies. If he were completely beyond the world's troubles, you'd expect him to be more like a spirit or an abstract force rather than a flesh and blood being with a cozy home. Tom doesn't quite fit into Middle-earth, as if the music that created him differs from all the rest. He has his own rhythm, leading to his odd behavior, inappropriate emotions, and eccentric dress and personality, but he is doing his best to imitate those around him, albeit not quite getting it right. Tom is more than a creature of Middle-earth. He exists both within it and apart from it. He is more the paper of the book than the words printed on it that create the story. The key seems to be that Bombail isn't just in the world. He is of the world in a way that no one else is. While elves, men, and even the Maya exist within the world and furthermore within its rules, Tom Bombail simply is. He calls himself eldest, suggesting he existed before most other beings in Middle-earth, even before the elves, a force of nature that neither seeks power to dominate nor one that could ever be dominated. But the question of the forest burning down is a sharp one. Gandalf himself acknowledges that if Sauron conquered all, even Tom Bombail might eventually fade or be affected. This suggests that while he's immune to the struggles of power and corruption, he's not completely untouchable. He doesn't see the world as something to fight for because for him it has always been, but if it were to be destroyed, it's unclear what would happen to him. Being so closely tied to the life of Arda, he might simply cease to be or just linger as a spirit over the land, being unable to leave it. Pure speculation might indicate that when the world does finally truly end, so will Tom, almost as if his existence is tied to the world itself. Tom Bombail in the story is an enigma on purpose. He's not meant to fit neatly into the logic of Middle-earth. He's more of a philosophical idea given form, a glimpse of something deeper that neither Sauron nor the wise truly understand. Even Goldberry seems to be a mystery. Perhaps she serves as some sort of safeguard for Tom, a wall, or serves as an anchor that keeps him within the world borders. She keeps him grounded. Without her, he may drift out of existence altogether. Ultimately, though, in the world of the Lord of the Rings, I think he is a remnant of the world's early shaping, perhaps shaped by the Vala as well, and whom possesses the same creative spirit that could conjure up Middle-earth and all those within it. He is like a foreman or program manager of the ones that build the earth, and when that construction project was done, he remained to oversee it, to manage it, or to simply enjoy living in the splendor that he helped create. He is more part of the root system of Middle-earth than the events going on within it, and he exists on such long timescales that even the many thousands of years of Sauron's interference is of little interest to him. For Tom, every day is simply today, and there is no real consideration of tomorrow or yesterday. He simply is. This compelling interpretation hits a lot of points, and it fits well with what we know about him. If Tom Bombail were an original creation of Eru Iluvatar or one of the first beings shaped by the Vala, it would explain why he is so ancient, powerful, and yet uninterested in the struggles of Middle-earth. He wasn't placed there to rule or guide, but rather as a kind of overseer or caretaker, someone who witnessed the shaping of the world and simply chose to remain and enjoy it rather than take part in the later projects. This would align with the why he predates the inhabitants of Middle-earth and why the One Ring has no effect on him. He simply exists outside of its scope. Sauron and his rings are sandboxed within Middle-earth, and Tom operates at a much higher level. He is simply immune to the magic of wizards. He was never meant to be part of them. He is untouched by the ambitions of Morgoth or Sauron. He predates their designed plan to take hold of the world. Once the foundations of Middle-earth were set, he went to work completing the build. When finished, instead of departing, he decided to stay, because he was bound to duty, but because he simply loved the land and couldn't leave it behind. He was there at the beginning of time and would stay until the end of time. That would also explain why he doesn't get involved in the events during the War of the Ring. He's not apathetic. He just sees the rise and fall of empires as small passing moments in a much larger picture. To him, Sauron is just another wave crashing against the shore. He knows the world will endure, and he's content to simply be part of it rather than fight for control over it. So that's the idea. Tom Bombail as a kind of ancient site manager of Middle-earth, long since retired but still living on the land he helped bring into existence. He is both within Middle-earth and beyond it, operating on timescales so vast that the minor quarrels of men and gods seem like fleeting moments, not worthy of any true attention. But fortunately for our heroes, he does take the time to get involved once in a while.